Let's talk about MSF. Let's talk about all of us. Let's talk about all the good things and the bad things Scopely does. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Like and subscribe.
What's going on, everybody? Taco Shooter joined today with RunSeven, and we've got a super amazing, super special interview with formerly MSF.GG guys, Toxie and TyeJae. Welcome to. I guess we're doing this on the Let's Talk About It set, but I don't know. We'll call it something super amazing. So epic intro, explosions, fireworks. Somebody just ran in and pinched Toxie for finally getting to hang out with me and Run. Super lucky fella, JK. Hi guys, how y'all doing? What's up?
Excellent. Doing awesome.
Good. Yeah, like I said, it's been too long time coming.
Yeah. This is so I've had TyeJae on Happy Hour a couple times, and we've had a good time, and was trying to figure out a way to get you on board, and then we were about to do something, and then I ended up joining the Envoy program, and everything sort of hit brakes and trying to figure out the paths to get this stuff together. So really excited to have you guys here. Run, you're so quiet.
Well, I was letting you do your thing. It's your baby here, Taco. No, I'm stoked. This is the first time that I've got to speak to you guys in person, and I had tons and tons of questions. Of course, we got to shave it down a little bit, and of course, you guys can't tell us the really juicy stuff, I'm sure, but I will be pushing the follow-up questions as best I possibly can here today. But I'm stoked to get to know you guys. So thank you for joining us. To get the ball rolling, why don't you guys tell us a little bit about yourselves? What you were doing before you got involved in Marvel Strike Force? Like let's jump back 5 years, and where were you guys then?
Pre-pandemic. Let's go.
Oh man. Before MSFGG, gosh man, I've done so many like side little projects, and they just all have just bombed hard. So when I found Toxie to work with MSF.GG, it just was like the culmination of everything good. So what I did before MSFGG is I sucked at things.
Is that true, Toxie? Did you have to bail him out of his lows there?
No, he's being incredibly humble. Yeah, incredibly humble. No, before the days of MSFGG and Marvel Strike Force in general, I was just making websites, working in internet marketing. I was working in a firm in upstate New York for about 10 years before I ended up moving over to Scopely. So yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
and now
how did you
the
guys
two of
end up?
you.
Go ahead, Taco.
No, sorry. So the two of you, you've got very different strengths with web design and stuff. So like, what are your specialties?
That is an understatement of the year. Our Toxie completes me. No, that is an absolute dead-on statement. Our strengths are so different that it really makes what we work on just absolutely just end up with such a good product that I'm so glad that we've been able to work together. So, I mean, we met basically just playing the game. Drew, dang it, I keep doing that. It's gonna keep happening.
5 minutes.
Toxie actually started MSFGG with another person, and I was one of the things I always do when I start a game is I look for sites to go figure stuff out and figure out how to be better. And I found MSFGG, and I couldn't access it from my site or from my work, and so I messaged him and said, "Hey, I can't access your site. Well, here's how you do it. Here's how you fix it." And then I was like, "If you ever need help, let me know." And he goes, "I think we might need your help."
Nobody had ever asked me such a weird technical question before, which intrigued me. And I was like, all right, I'll go down this rabbit hole with you. I'm a little curious. And I ended up talking to him more, and it was like, oh, you're into programming? Like, you're interested in this kind of stuff? And he started asking about the website. I was like, you know what? Let's see. Yeah, why not? I gave him the keys to the kingdom, and we've been best buddies ever since.
No, and this is no joke. 2 days after I met him, he gave me the full repo to go have at the code.
If I trust, I trust. If I don't, you're out.
Yeah, so I guess that's kind of an ode back to the first question. Is I mean, I've been a software developer for a while, so
Yeah, and I've been a web designer, so yeah, I mean, our skill sets are very differently, but when paired together, I mean, we're kind of like jigsaw puzzle pieces. Like we complement each other very well, and you can't like complete the puzzle without those pieces. So yeah.
That's what's up. And as far as the nation, the world got hit with the COVID pandemic, and did y'all meet before, after, or during that?
yeah, we met before that. We actually the first time we met was at the studios in 2019, right before pandemic like kind of hit. It was, what was it, October or November of 2019 when we finally got to meet in person, but we had been working for over a year together.
Yeah, the game was still being run by Fox Next at that point. We went out to the studio with a bunch of other content creators. So yeah, that was the first time I got to meet Ty in person.
Yeah, and so a lot of people are we in our streams. A lot of people ask, do the devs, do the people at Scopely and Boundless even play the game? And so, fun fact, y'all are near day one players. Like, y'all have been playing for a long time.
Yeah, day one. Well, Toxie was
Yeah.
probably before day one.
I mean, I was deep into like DC Legends and playing those kind of games and helping the community there. So as soon as I heard like Marvel, as you can see, I love Marvel.
Yeah, yeah.
As soon as I heard Marvel, I was like, yes. So then I went out, like bought an iPad, figured out how to set up, like I think you had to have like a New Zealand account or something like that at that point. So I figured out how to do all that, got the game installed, and yeah, I've been playing it every single day since.
And
And
Toxie, what led you to start the site in the first place? You just saw a need for it, or?
I was running the Discord and subreddit communities, helping those grow, and I met the first person who helped work this on the site with. He was just doing it like as a passion project. He was like just trying to learn a little bit about React and Vue. I saw it. He like posted it in like the Discord chat, and I saw it and just started talking to him about it and realized like he didn't have like the designer kind of side of things hooked down. So I started working with him, and it wasn't for long. I think it was for maybe 2 months before I ended up meeting Ty, and then Ty took over. So it was a very brief period of time.
I have some screenshots of the early days. Oh man, it's funny seeing the.
But to answer the question directly, it was because there was just no other information for it, and like there's so even back then the game was pretty deep. There was a lot of information about the abilities, and there's like no place to look up the characters or go see any information about missions and stuff like that. So we wanted to kind of fill the void of that data lacking. So yeah, we just aimed to be like the database for Marvel Strike Force.
Yeah, I know when I found the site originally, way back when, I was like, wow, this is amazing. Why doesn't Scopely do something like this? Scopely decided to do something like that, didn't they? And they came to you guys, or did you how did this merger happen with you guys and Scopely and the MSF.GG website?
You can go ahead, Drew.
I guess it's a long. I mean, we've been working in collaboration with the different community managers for a long time, through Discord and subreddit and everything like that. So we already had the line of communication with the devs, and obviously going out to the studio and everything before. So it was basically they approached us in the summer of 2021, I think it was. And just flat out asked if we would be interested in having them acquire the site and us joining the team to work on it long term. So that was my dream come true. That's not something we saw in the cards or thought was going to be happening. But yeah, for me, it was an immediate, yeah, that sounds fantastic.
Yeah, it's kind of funny too because you know, we would get hit up by them every once in a while, and both me and him were like, "What do they want now?"
We figured it's like just make another MSFGG kind of for like a new game coming out or something like that. We didn't think it was going to be a job opportunity.
So as far as how was that transition? I mean, so of course we had MSF.GG, and then about the same time, so before MSF.GG transition, there was MarvelStrikeForce.com that came out that was sort of bits and pieces of what it is today. And then it transitioned, it was like a hard transition back to MSF.GG. And then another hard transition to MarvelStrikeForce.com. Like, what was that back and forth?
It was really collaborative. I think especially in the very beginning, it was like, how do we want to move forward with the two sites? Because like we had to marry the two sites together, and one was written in a completely different language than what we wrote MSFGG in. So it kind of was more along the lines of the amount of code that we have in MSF.GG would take so much longer than what it would take to rewrite the opposite one. So we ended up marrying MSF.com into MSFGG, and I think it went really smooth.
Yeah, unifying the tech stacks was the primary goal. I mean, it's really hard to maintain multiple different installs. So getting it all on one was the primary goal for like the team itself. But the switching like the domains and stuff like that was primarily just because when there was the acquisition, we joined the team. I mean, the more valuable site was obviously MSFGG. It had all the information and everything what the site was going to be. So that was why we ultimately pivoted towards that for like a little bit. Because it was much easier to just get like a homepage like stood up on MSFGG for like a little bit, and then transition once we were comfortable with that, make it MarvelStrikeForce.com.
Gotcha.
How busy do they
sense.
keep you guys? I'm curious. Are you guys swamped with work over there, or do you have time to do side projects? Like what's your day look like?
I probably work too much. I get told a lot, like, "What are you doing? I saw you on." But you know, it's kind of like one of those things. It's your baby. I think one of you guys said that earlier. You know, it's we have this thing that we were passionate about, and we did it as on a side because we loved it, and we loved getting the feedback from the community and doing the things that the community wanted. And so that stuff's important to us still. So it shows in our work. So
so speaking of excited, is there anything in particular that y'all are excited about with MarvelStrikeForce.com that you're working on and can share with us?
Yeah, I mean, I think Drew could. I just can't stop. Okay.
That's actually 3. I've been counting.
Anyway, I think he can attest to this as well. We have some big changes coming up with the new alliance version 2, which is going to include like a much better recruitment, both for alliances and players themselves. Like we have you can kind of put yourself on a recruit list now. We did a version 1 of that recently where we made it a little bit better, but the next version is just going to blow that out of the water.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's really impressive what the team has put together so far. It's pretty grand in scope. The goal is to ultimately have to eliminate pretty much the tedium of the current recruitment process and how hard it is both for players who are looking for alliance and alliance leaders who are looking for players. I mean, just having to make like the Photoshop graphics and all that kind of stuff and all the listings, keep them updated. It's really, 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 really difficult. And the way that recruitment works for the most part is that it comes in like waves, right? Because everyone's doing it during the end of season for the most part. So yeah, it becomes really, really difficult to parse through all of that information. So the new system is trying to make it where you can really, really make it refined and filter for exactly the type of player that you're looking for.
Oh, nice.
I wasn't sure how much you guys were going to be able to share about that. They have shown us a few pictures and whatnot, and I
Yeah.
think it's an ambitious project, and I am super
Yeah.
excited. I'm glad you guys are in on this, and I think it's going to be fantastic. So, really looking forward to
Yeah.
it.
We went through the 40-page novel today, so I can attest to it being grand in scope. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks amazing. It really looks amazing. It looks super easy to use. It's really going to be exciting. I can't wait till everybody's allowed to finally see the work that y'all put into this.
Do you guys expect it all to come in like one big package, or do you guys think you'll be implementing pieces of it at a time?
It'll come in one big package.
Okay.
Like we'll be implementing it piece by piece on our side, and we'll be
Mhm.
testing those pieces individually. But everybody will see it when it's done and complete, so that people can start using it.
There will be a couple of improvements after the fact as well. We have a couple other items that we've slated to add to it as well.
Nice.
Cool.
Yeah, it should be a great feature. I'm really excited to not only use it myself, but to get it into everybody else's hands.
Yeah. So speaking of additional stuff, so there was so ISO attack counter assist. Used to be at the top of abilities, and that just mysteriously disappeared a couple months ago, and
Yeah.
we have and no word of it since. And it is the most requested thing that I get in my stream whenever anybody brings up msf.gg. Like where is it? When's it coming back? How's it coming back? Why did it go away? 10 questions right there. Go.
Go. So this, I mean, I'll take full responsibility of this one. That came about because I found it in the data mine, right? And so I started including it in MSFTG. It's only in English. It's something that I have to do every patch, and I have to read the JSON to figure out what it means, and I have to turn that into English, and it's prone to errors. And one of the things that we wanted to reduce on our site is having errors and misleading people. Okay. So my goal is to push that to be part of the production.
Okay.
And have that be a part of the deliverable, so that it can be viewed and consumed by not only us, but other people that use the API, and also have somebody own that for all the different languages. So, I mean, that's the long story for why it's gone. I could keep doing it now in English, but the prone to error part of it is what concerns me.
Okay. Do we have an ETA on when we expect that to come back?
There is none. No, not right now. We still need to find an owner for it.
Okay.
And get buy-in for it.
Well, I can tell you it's extraordinarily popular, and it is extraordinarily missed by the community, definitely by me.
I get DMs too.
Well,
Yeah, because Jarvis isn't telling us anything. He's got his lips sealed too. So I'll take inconsistent work over nothing at all.
Well, I mean, if it is truly important and this is what you guys are like looking for, just keep on bringing it up because I mean, we are listening. So back is very important.
Get ready for a daily Reddit post reminding you guys that they want it back. We get this a lot.
Yeah. All you had to say was community, please yell louder. They will.
The word is out.
I don't realize how much people rely on stuff like that. And then I take it away, and people are like, "What the heck?" Like I took away the Discord button on alliances because there was a conflict on whether or not the person wants their Discord shared and things like that. And I took that away, and people are like, "Where's that Discord button?" I got to find these people.
Yeah, ISO 8 information, those counter assist things, those are absolutely critical in theory crafting. And when those conversations get brought up over what ISO class choice you want to use, everybody's reaching for msf.gg
Yeah.
to bring that up, and it's no longer there anymore, because that's an argument changer right there. When you think you've got a
Absolutely.
point when it comes to theory crafting, it was critical. So I really hope you guys find a way to make that come back.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. Are we talking about two different things? Because you just said ISO class.
When you're choosing your ISO class, whether it's going to be like a striker or a skirmisher
Oh,
or
Yeah.
whatever,
okay.
because you want to know what they do when they retaliate. If they have this amazing ISO 8
Mhm.
counter assist mechanic, then you want them to be a striker to use it more often, or in some cases. And if all they do is basic damage or something, well, then
Yeah.
striker's probably not the choice for you. And so it's a huge thing to know exactly what they do. And people are getting, with these huge novel like kits in the characters, these things are becoming more and more important, because there's all these little tiny
Mhm.
details that happen in a matchup.
I
Yeah.
think we just need to crop what RunSeven just said, and we'll just put that in a channel inside of Scopely.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's not wrong. I mean, you look
Yeah.
at what those additional abilities do, whether it's an additional rewind on a character, or putting down more bleeds, or flipping more stuff, or extending something. Like there's so many potential huge impacts. Adding additional regens and other things of that nature. It's hugely impactful. And at this point, we're all just guessing and hoping that it's going to go the way that we are. But as we all know, sometimes the ISO attack is just base damage, even though the basic attack says that it does more. Here's hoping that we get it back soon. That y'all get some leeway to give that back to us, or it gets the owner that it needs.
Well, at least we are having discussions about it. So, I mean, the
Yeah.
ball's in that regard. Yeah.
Yeah. Really. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
So you guys mentioned the language barrier, and I've heard that like the language barrier on different things is an issue, especially with like the blog, because it has to be produced in so many different languages in such a short amount of time. What are the other challenges, or is that the biggest challenge when it comes to implementing new features on the site? Like what kind of obstacles do you guys encounter?
I tell you what, man, the guy on our team that implemented the all of the languages for MSF.GG is a hero, because that was a
Yeah.
lot of work.
It's
Uh,
so many. It's so
I
many.
I did everything in English, right? And I hard coded everything in English, and he did a really good job of that. But I think one of the biggest challenges for me currently, though, is like before I used to, if I wanted to do something, I just did it. And so
Now you've got a chain of command.
and now there's like I have a whole laundry list of things that I got to do, and I can't go do that thing that I want to do that I'm not going to say because people will ask for it. You know what I mean? And so that's the biggest challenge for me, is like, just balancing the what needs to be done, because the site does need to make money, right? Because
Mhm.
that's the whole point of this, of them hiring us, right? Is to help them with that aspect of it. But on the other hand, there's also this desire in me to go fix things in the bot that I haven't been able to fix, and implement cool new features that I know people want to see in the site. And it's nice though, but we do have those conversations of like, hey, what does the community want to see? And so we're having those conversations, which is awesome.
That's awesome.
Toxie,
The
what's your biggest struggle with implementing new features and making change and stuff? Is it the same thing, trying to integrate with all the other pods and stuff that you guys work with?
No, the other pods are great. I mean, whenever you have to do any kind of work with them, it's usually pretty seamless. Like we get a lot of help from UX in terms of like wireframing and general layout of like new features, and all that work is fantastic and super, super useful. So no, there's never any issue with pods in that regard. Uh, Localization for me is hard because that, as a designer, it poses so many different issues that you're not used to running into when you're just dealing with English. I mean, certain languages don't have any kind of spaces in them for their sentences. So, like a space is how they denote their period. So you have to think of how you're designing things completely different at that point. Actually, like maybe think of like a throwing tooltips on things that you wanted before, or truncating things in a different manner than you would before. So yeah, no, that it makes you design in different ways.
Is there anything in particular that y'all want to add, but either it's unrealistic, or it's just not it's just, or either it's unrealistic long term, or it's just flat out not an option, but you really want it in the MSF.GG either before or after?
Oh yeah, I think we've both talked about one before, which always gets shot down. We want web blitz.
What?
Web blitz, being able to
Oh
blitz.
yeah. I was like, what's
Oh.
blitz?
Yeah.
Is this a solution to the ever-growing complaint of Blitz?
It
Oh
would be
my
my-
God.
Elaborate. I want to hear more. You
Yeah.
just piqued my interest.
Yo, we
Explain
got
what
an
Blitz-
audience for you.
I took a pretty big deep dive into what it would take to do blitz on the web, and unfortunately, it's unrealistic because of the combat logic and where it lives. It's not like it's I can just go hit some endpoint and be like, hey, would this team beat this team? No, it lives inside the code. So I guess I could extrapolate that code out, but then trying to keep those two things in lockstep sounds like a nightmare.
Yeah,
But essentially, the idea would be to take your Blitz and do it on the website so that you wouldn't have to be in game to do that game mode.
Yeah, just so you don't have to pull up your game if you just wanted to quick pop on and do a couple of blitzes, things like that. That was my goal of trying to get that done, but it's unrealistic because of just where the technology lives.
I see.
Oh, that would be a beautiful a beautiful thing to come true, but I get it, so unfortunately, guys, for those of you watching, it's not happening, regardless of how much we want it.
We thought about it. We talked about it. We got conversations. I promise we have these conversations.
Yeah. So again, this goes back to y'all being, y'all actually playing the game and realizing that blitzing sucks. It's so speaking of blitzing sucks. What is each of your favorite game modes right now?
I'm going through incursion 1.6 and actually having to think about what I'm doing at raids and going. That's fun. And actually, like we were just talking about before starting the stream, I just started my DD6 run. So that's fun too. I love going into that the hard content where you actually have to start strategizing again.
Yeah.
What
about
for me,
you, TyeJae?
it's raids. I think every time I've answered this question, I've said the same thing. It's raids. For a short while, I was really liking war, and then I stopped liking war again. Went back to raids.
It ebbs and flows, doesn't it?
That really does. It really does. When you're doing well in war, it's so fun.
Yeah, losing sucks.
No, the war changes are great actually. For instance, like I'm the guy who they ping like with the 1 hour left in war. I'd be like, hey Toxie, you still have your attacks left, so I have to go in. But it's great. Like, I can still go in and have like make the impact. Like I got MVP last week with an hour left, and I hadn't done any attacks yet, just because I was able to still do well. So
Because
yeah,
they saved y'all the big stuff, is what they did. Yeah.
that's fine with me. Believe it.
Yeah.
I just see the little meme of you on a wrecking ball, like sliding into the war, hold my beer.
Me with 30 minutes left, trying to get 14 attacks in.
All right, and so next question is, so we've talked about a lot of good times and a lot of fun creating. Has there ever been friction since y'all started working together? And what do you do when you just don't agree on something?
Oh man, that is so rare that me and
You guys don't live near each other, right? You could just turn off the video feed, right?
We'll talk tomorrow.
We're like geographically as far apart as possible, like in the conscious, like. But honestly, there's only one instance that I can It was before we worked together. It was just like our hobby building like the website. And
Yeah.
like Ty has alluded to, my man's a workaholic. Like he loves working. Even when he's not working, he loves working about it. Like he's just his gears are going nonstop. So I had to remind him a little bit that not everyone's time and everyone's brain works like you does, my friend. And I need a little break sometimes too. And the weekends it was with my wife, and she likes that time as well. So I had to balance it out. And once we found that balance, everything's fine. And we've never had any conflict since. And we don't really disagree on things very often, which is I don't know why we're such good friends now, I think too.
You will ignore your family like a normal person.
Oh.
That's funny.
Okay, so what you guys have worked on this project for almost 5 years now? Is that about right? Since the birth of MSFGG, 5 years? Would you say? Along the course of this, what's the moment that stands out to you guys the most? What is the thing you're most proud of at implementing? And or if they're not the same thing, maybe you guys had an interesting moment that you both find near and dear to your heart. But what are the exciting things? Tell us what's happened along the way.
I just think there's been so like since we've been able to get and do all of the things that we've been talking about wanting to do over the years, like getting rosters and getting your save squads up there and starting to see all that stuff come to fruition is far and above what we wanted to see happen. So those accomplishments and those moments I think are the most proud for me, that we took this thing that we were just doing for fun and it's now used, and we see how many people are using it is unbelievable.
Yeah, it's been a fun journey just to think about like the small milestones along the way too, from like having the first iteration of the website to then having like our first like login system where people can have like alliance features, and then having the bright idea of getting so annoyed with war and people asking in Discord so many times, what do I use on this team? What do I use on this team? We're like, we'll just build a bot. Let's just build a bot. And that's end up where MSFGG bot came from. And that got huge. Other milestones like along the way, then obviously having the opportunity to work with Scopely and to work with one of my best friends. That's not something that gets presented to you very often. So very, very, very fortunate. In terms of like stuff we've done since, I mean, Save Squads is amazing. And that's something that we wouldn't have had the capability before. We just didn't have that kind of access. So
yeah, that's so the save squads in particular. That's where I'm at right now, showing that y'all can't see. But specifically for the Blitz save squads, that's like the number one request that I get on my channel. How do you do your Blitz teams? And for me, I'm too lazy to go in and manually do anything with creating Blitz teams. So it's just the teams that are in there, and you make a new one as you go through. But we've got some really dedicated members of the community. Pathfinder Gaming used to always do the Blitz save squads, and for my channel, Zodi, a member of the Twitch community, a very active member of the Twitch community, one of the top blitzers in the world. Zodi, shout out to Zodi. Zodi's the best. Zodi shares his blitz squads with me to share to the community at large, and it makes it so easy just to import it really, really quickly with just a quick code, and it's done. It's sort of on the same lines though. So we've got the ability to do the roster management, the save squads online, and we've got the we've got the alliance pieces as far as, not alliance pieces, but roster information, like personal roster information, where you go in, you click the little sync roster button, and then it also pulls everything in from gear, and so you can utilize it with your Dark Dimension planners. Is that always going to be clicking a button, or will that eventually just be completely in sync?
No, it'll be completely insane. Actually, parts of the site are already doing that. That will pull your roster for you. The reason that we were doing that was basically for the analysis tools that we currently still have running. So as long as we get, I mean, as soon as the support for that comes to fruition, we won't need to do that anymore. Yeah, but it's basically just for that, so that we could, have those crunching those numbers a little bit.
Nice. And the one good thing that I'm hearing a lot about the Jarvis recommendations is the ISO recommendations that it is on Jarvis. Now, is that pulling directly from MSF.com?
No, that's pulling from the game now. There's a nightly thing that happens that pulls all this information in, crunches it all around, and pushes it to the data, and we consume it.
All right.
Do you guys ever feel threatened by Jarvis? Are you worried he's going to try and put you out of a job?
Right.
Those AIs just taking over everything, aren't they?
Yeah.
They always make that one tragic mistake, though. That's what's
right.
That's why Skynet won't be real.
That's right. And that's why Bionic Avengers will never do incursion raids.
So that's I don't have anything else. Run, you got anything for these guys?
No, I just wanted to tell you guys that you have done an absolutely amazing job on that platform. There are so many incredible features that I can never think of how you guys could even make this better, and it seems like you're constantly implementing more and more things, from being able to import somebody's blitz save squads into my own roster, to the DD6 planner, which I never used the Dark Dimension planner until this time around, and I'm like, oh my god, why have I not been doing this? This is amazing.
It's so good.
It's just incredible. Since the very start, since it was .gg, I have been a fan of your guys' work. And I'm super stoked that we got to have this conversation. I'm so glad you guys came and shared this information. It was enlightening. I had a great time hanging out with you. So I'm just really grateful to have shared this time with you guys.
Awesome.
Yeah, same. Any last words of wisdom y'all want to impart on the community before we get out of here? TyeJae?
Oh my, the pressure. Gosh. Oh, you know what? There's no wisdom, but we do love hearing the feedback. So keep it coming. Like, it really is important. Most of the things that RunSeven just thanked us for came from the community. Like, it was requests. So keep them coming.
Yeah.
Toxie?
I can't enough. I mean, we listen all the time. I'm constantly on Discord still. If somebody has a question or anything, you can still reach out to me. Just send me a DM. Ty will always answer you. I can guarantee you that. That's one of his workaholic compulsions. He'll always answer this. If you have a question, ask Ty. If you have a feature, he'll talk to you. But no, for real, it is really important to get that feedback. And like, the player voice movement has been like instrumental lately, and has had very positive shift within the company. So I mean, just keep on doing those kind of things as the community. I mean, we used to be part of you guys. We still are, in a sense, and we care just as much as we used to. So that won't change. I promise you that.
All right, sounds good. Well, so thank you guys so much for joining us. This has been a really eye-opening experience into what y'all are going through and what y'all have gone through, from MSF.gg to MarvelStrikeForce.com, and to echo Run's sentiments. Thank you. Thank you for caring to be a part of this community. Thank you for caring to put together MSF.gg back in the day, and thank you for the drinks that we're about to have. So, all right. So that brings us to the end. For those of you watching at home, thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe. Remember that you are pretty, you are smart, and you are special. And we love you all very, very much. And if you haven't hit the follow and like button already, what are you waiting for? Stop. Be better. Hi, Loki. Mwah. All right. And epic closing scene.
He heard you say that you were pretty.
So, look at that face.
Yeah, that's my little man.
The tiny bit of tongue sticking out.